Hey, what's up, dudes? I managed to go out and go fishing this weekend. Um, I don't know if some of you noticed, but we went through a little bit of a rebrand. We named it Flippin' Florida Fishing. Um, I get a lot of comments about the screen on the front of the boat and things like that, and my being a grassroots fisherman and so forth. Um, I decided to just go back to what I do best, man, and that's flip, frog, and worm. Just straight grassroots fishermen is Florida fishermen. Uh, so that's where flipping Florida fishing came from. We kind of revolved this channel around flipping and frogging and throwing a worm and things like that. Um, but with that being said, dude, so we went out and we did some frogging and punching. Uh, I went to that new lake and there was a tournament there that morning, and I was like, damn, do I want to go across the street, go somewhere else? I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stick it out. I doubt they're gonna come back and go where I'm going, way back in that marshy area. And with all that hydrilla, this bass guys, most of the guys in the glitter rigs and the fancy bass boats, they don't really like to go way back there. So I went back there, man, and it was kind of slow at first. I had one good blow up on a frog, and then I caught a dink on a frog, and then something was just like told me, you know what, pick up the punch rod. We're done. We're done wasting our time. It was 8 o'clock. And there's just I didn't hit this area yet. There was so much to flip, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna flip this whole area. We're gonna break it down. So I kind of broke it down a little bit in the video, but I'm gonna break it down better for you guys. When you are pull into these areas and you got mats everywhere, you got isolated mats, you got hydrilla, you got hyacinth, you got pennywort, you got smartweed, gatorweed. There's all sorts of stuff that creates a mat that these fish can sit under. And during the summer, it tends to be kind of a common. They kind of like either straight hydrilla or a combination of stuff. You're not gonna find them really uptight on that hard edge where a lot of guys think you're gonna find them. I mean, it's possible you can find some there, but generally that hard edge, if there's, like in the marshes we fish, if there's water that goes way up into that hard edge or water on the other side, just say it's a flat or something that creates that hard edge. Usually that's what the dikes do. They're old cow fields that are dug out, and they create these dikes, and those dikes will flood over. There'll be this much water on them. You can go stand on them. But that's enough to create that, what I'm talking about. And they will sit on that hard edge if that's present. Usually if that's not present, they're going to avoid that hard edge because one thing comes into mind, spawn and things like that. They don't want to be up there. That's not what's going on right now. So when I approach these areas, the first thing I look for is isolated stuff. I look for isolated hydrilla mats, anything that's floating. Generally, lily pads will tend on to hold on to some eelgrass, things like that create mats and stuff like that. That's going to be my first thing. And then if I do see that there is dike lines and there's water, I will check out the deeper divots. If you're looking at the dikes, you'll see where there's divots and areas where it looks like it runs back up in there into those cattails. It's holding a whole bunch of mat. That's good. That's what's predominantly what I catch a lot of. Used to catch a lot of big fish out of, and still do, is those divots in the cattail lines. And that's a given almost. Those mats provide the shade, the ambush point, the clarity, everything you want, and it's way tucked back, and they can kind of call it their own little spot. And that's a bass's favorite thing to do. They're very territorial. But a lot of it, man, it goes back to the fact of knowing what you're looking at, dude. There's, like I said, there's a tournament going on, and I had a guy behind me and a guy in front of me most of the time. And if I have to say, I seen the weigh-in on TikTok, I would have won the tournament. And I was actually fishing behind people most of the time. But the thing is, when I'm flipping, I'm been doing it for so long. I'm seeing the guy was flipping. He was doing the same thing I was doing in the same area, but I'm seeing stuff different. I've done it for so long, it becomes more of a feeling and more of a muscle memory and more of a visual thing when I'm going along. A lot of you guys will see in the video, I'll have a flip, I'll flip into the water, and I'm already looking for my next spot. I don't just go flip along and flip in every section. Now I'm cruising along. A lot of times I don't make as many flips as a lot of guys, and sometimes if I'm begging for a bite, I will flip, 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 flip. But most of the time, man, I'm cruising along and I know exactly what I'm looking for. And that's something you'll have to learn. And most of the time, exactly what you're looking for is going to be something different than what's how do I say, predominantly present. So if you got a big, huge line of pennywort, that one little section of water lettuce or that one little section of hyacinth or gatorweed, chances are they're going to be in that versus the pennywort, the 100%. And a lot of guys, I know you guys like to throw your sweet beavers and things like that. And one of the main reasons I excel, and I love Gambler lures. They take care of me, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up their butt, dude. But this bait right here, this why not? This is one of the main reasons that I catch and I'm able to flip and do the things that I do. If you look at this bait, man, it's very streamlined. It doesn't require much weight to get it through the things. I get away with a 1.5 most of the time. In this video, I bumped it up to a 2 because of the fall rate. I noticed I was getting a reaction bite, and it was mostly small fish. So I figured, let me up the weight, move the bait faster, and see if I can get that bigger fish to trigger, and that's what happened. So this why not right here is, I mean, this is one of the main things that help me move and keep moving and not having to yank on my bait and get it out of the mat, not having to, you know, jiggle it and push it. A lot of you guys, you see me do that one little flip or 2 little flips. That's all it takes. And I'm using most of the time a 1 1/4, 1.5 at most, and some of the stuff that you guys are throwing 2 ounces in. So that one little flip, that one little jiggle, I love doing that. That's also creating attention and pulling attention to the lure from the top of the mat before it even falls through. And most of the time when it falls through, you can watch the whole mat rumble. He's already waiting for it to come. He's already knows it's up there. So another thing is, man, when you're in clear water, dark water, I don't blow smoke up line. I've used Power Pro, I use P line, but this P line right here, dude, this Endurix, it holds its color. I can flip it all day long. It stays black. And when you're flipping, that's what you want, man, because these mats, all they are is just one big thing of shade, dude. You throw something in there that's got white attached to it or a lighter color line, your bite ratio is going to go down. And that's a proven fact. Trust me, I've flipped long enough to know. I'm trying to answer some questions for you guys that I'm constantly getting. Right during the summer, man, Mikey Ball just made a video and he touched on to something that I really wished I could touch on more with you guys. And that's kind of the vertical and horizontal. When you got lily pads and then and hydrilla and all that mixed into one, those lily pads are the lily pad is what's going to hold the fish. There's going to be some sort of cavity around the bottom of that pad, and in that area, that's what's going to hold the fish. He touched base on that, and he touched it slightly. I'm just going to tell you straight up, there's cavities in there. When the hydrilla grows around it, basically the lily pad's like, dude, you got to give me room to breathe. There's a cavity down there, and you can almost feel it every time you flip. And you know, you get eelgrass that blows up in there that creates mats to get you that vertical and horizontal cover, and you get anything. Hyacinth blows in there, pennywort, any sort of mat can blow up in the lily pads and get stuck. And that's really a key for a summer, is that vertical and horizontal. It allows them to move up and down and create better ambush points. And that cavity, like I said, the bass is territorial. He likes a spot he can call his own. But I'm not going to ramble on anymore, dude. I'll let you guys see some of this flipping. I did catch a good fish and a few others, which would have definitely put me at more than what the tournament weighed in for. I want to include the video, but I'm not that type of guy, and some of you guys might recognize this video, and one of you, some of you guys might have been out there fishing the tournament and recognized me and got frustrated. So I'm not going to say anything. But anyways, hopefully that helps a little bit. Especially on, I wanted some of the things I could touch base on, like the reaction time, the 2 ounce weight. If you notice that they're hitting as soon as it falls through and they're smaller, up that weight size. Make that smaller one have to work for it. Generally, they're either too small to eat that big 2 ounce weight, or you'll notice it because it's going to be more of a chomp, chomp, chomp. It's with the 2 ounce weight and that quick fall, you're going to get that thud, that boom. But Like I said, guys, it's easy to work on. Just go out, put your head down, and just punch away, man. And you'll start to learn and see things for what they are versus just one big field of mats. You'll notice, oh, I caught that fish out of that water lettuce. Let me focus on this pennywort, but let me see if I can find any section with water lettuce. You don't have to flip every section. You can flip that water lettuce, make 1 or 2 flips so you get to the next section of water lettuce and pick that one apart. So there's different things you can do, and I'm not saying don't use your sweet beavers or whatever, but the why not is what helps me move quick in and out onto the next one. So, but enjoy the video. Tight lines, baby. That was a brand new weight this morning, son. Chewed up, baby. Chew. she is. Yeah, boy. That's a 7-pounder right there, dog. Bitch. I worked all morning for you. There she is right there. That's a 7-pounder, son. Woo! Oh, I'm about to fall in there. Ha! Straight chunker, son. Straight monster, son. Right back down that hydrilla. That's how we do it, son. What's up, dudes? So we're just out here punching around, you know. Basically, I just wanted to touch base with you guys. We're just doing the normal old thing, dude. Throwing the why not. I did up the weight a little bit to a 2 ounce. This hydrilla in here is pretty thick. I just got that big one out of this mat right here. That's a pretty mat. They're mostly hitting it on the fall or the pause, not really having to work it or do anything of that sort. So once you figure out that part, it really allows you to move fast. But the things I like to do, so basically right over here, that's where the entrance comes in at to this little bowl that I'm in. And I go and I hit all the isolated stuff first. And then I go from, you know, I work my way around the edge after that, and then I'm gonna head out and go into the next bowl. When you're in these marshy areas, they're always kind of built like this in Florida, cattail lines, and then, you know, bowls and so forth. That's how you want to work these. You want to start in the middle and work your way out, kind of like a target board, work your way out in circles. That's if you're punching, I mean, and that's just about anything back here in these marshy areas, if you're throwing a frog, whatever it is. But yeah, I got two good bites on the frog. I had one hit it so hard, dude. I mean, it was just looked like somebody threw a freaking firecracker in the water, or an M80 or something. But no, as soon as I picked up the punch rod, it's been on like Donkey Kong. That last one I caught could have ate the first 5, but see what we can scramble up for you guys. It might turn out to be a pretty good video. I wasn't expecting much today. Unfortunately, I forgot the drone, not the drone, but the SD card that goes in the drone, so we'll see what happens. Oh God. Oh man, came off. That was a good one, dude. That was a better one. I lost her. They're all up in there. Dude, this is awesome, man. I love flipping this little fucking lake, man. Yeah, Ricky. There goes the pansies. I bet they are pissed watching me. bit better one. A little bit better one. There we go.